Most people spend their lives trying to figure things out. They map out goals, set deadlines, read books, chase advice, and attend conferences, hoping for a moment of clarity. But the truth is, clarity doesn't start in the brain. It starts in the spirit. Your mind may store memories and ideas, but your spirit holds the blueprint of your life. Vision is not about imagination. It is about revelation. It's about seeing what already exists in the mind of God concerning your life and aligning yourself with it. You are not here by chance, and the proof is the quiet, persistent inner whisper that tells you, there's more. Think about it. Every major decision you've made, when it was truly right for you, it didn't come from overthinking. It came from a deep knowing. You might have explained it later in words, but in the moment, it was a feeling of alignment. That's the Spirit speaking. The world wants you to believe you have to chase vision through external systems. But divine vision is downloaded, not designed. It's revealed in moments of stillness, through prayer, meditation, reflection, when the noise of the world fades and the signal of God becomes clear. Let's take an example from daily life. Imagine a young man working at a job he hates. Every day, he wakes up with dread. He clocks in, does the work, smiles on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. He doesn't understand why. The money is decent. The environment is okay. People tell him to just be grateful. But something in him is unsettled. That unsettling, that's not dissatisfaction. It's a divine signal. It's God reminding him that he wasn't designed to live on autopilot. That whisper says, there's something inside you I need to release to the world. But here's the thing, if he tries to figure it out mentally, by logic alone, he'll end up stuck in the same loop. Why? Because the answer is not external, it's internal. That's why vision is spiritual. When he finally stops running, when he dares to be still, when he turns off the distractions and listens, he starts to receive. He remembers that as a child he used to draw, create, imagine new worlds. He remembers how alive he felt when he helped people solve problems, how he would lose track of time when he was teaching or building something from scratch. Those memories weren't random. They were clues. The Spirit speaks in flashes, in passions, in peace. That's the download of vision. Now, let's be clear, this inner knowing doesn't always make logical sense. God doesn't give full explanations. He gives assignments. He doesn't send blueprints. He gives burdens. You start to carry something inside you that won't let you rest. That burden is not anxiety, it's purpose knocking. And once it's awakened, you can't go back to sleep. Consider the example of a woman who's been a homemaker for years. Her life seems full, children, responsibilities, routines, but inside, something is stirring. She keeps getting dreams about women in pain. She starts waking up with ideas about mentoring, about speaking, about starting a space where women can heal. She has no formal training, no background in counseling, and yet, every part of her being feels called. That feeling, that's not ambition, that's assignment. That's the Spirit revealing the vision that's been dormant. And unless she listens and moves on it, she will feel the dull ache of missed purpose in today's world. Everything is fast. Notifications blink, deadlines race, opinions shout, and expectations press from all directions. People wear busy like a badge of honor, confusing movement with meaning. But here's a truth that most never realize: the most powerful breakthroughs in life don't happen in noise. They happen in stillness. The real voice of God is rarely loud. It's not chaotic. It doesn't compete with distractions. It speaks in the calm, in the pause, in the quiet spaces where the world loses its grip and the soul can finally breathe. Stillness is not emptiness, it's access. It is in stillness that divine sight awakens. Let me tell you something: a river that runs wild on the surface might seem impressive, but the real treasures are found when the water is calm and deep. In the same way, when your life is too loud, you only skim the surface. It's only when you learn to silence the external that you can hear what the eternal is saying inside you. Take a moment to reflect on this. How often have you said, "I need to think," or "I need a break," or "I just need some peace"? That's your spirit crying out for stillness. And the reason you crave it isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Deep inside, you know that clarity doesn't come from the chaos. It comes when you step away from the noise and allow your inner world to speak. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine a woman going through a season of confusion. She's juggling her career, family, relationships, and expectations. She's exhausted, not just physically, but spiritually. She starts questioning everything. Am I in the right job? Am I living the life I'm meant to live? She tries to distract herself with TV, scrolling social media, or throwing herself into more work. But nothing settles her heart. Then one day, instead of running from the discomfort, she chooses something different. She wakes up early, before the world starts demanding anything from her. She sits in silence. No phone, no noise, just her breath, her thoughts, her presence. At first it's uncomfortable. Her mind races, but slowly, like fog clearing from a windshield, she begins to hear, not with her ears, but with her heart. Memories resurface, desires that she had buried under responsibility begin to reappear. She remembers who she is beyond the labels, and for the first time in years, she sees, not her job, not her to-do list, but herself, her soul, her true direction. And it came, not through hustle, but through holy stillness. That's the secret most people miss. When you are still, you stop reacting and start receiving. Stillness is not laziness. It's spiritual discipline. It's choosing to anchor yourself in the present moment so you can tune into the eternal signal of God's presence inside you. You don't need a retreat in the mountains. You don't need to fly to a temple. Stillness can happen in your room, in your car, on your lunch break. Wherever you make space, God fills it. Another everyday example: think of someone at a crossroads in life. A young man with 2 job offers. One pays more, offers status, and everyone tells him it's the smart choice. The other is smaller, quieter, aligned with his passion, but less secure. He's torn. He makes lists, asks friends, overanalyzes everything, but still, he's stuck. Then, late one evening, he steps outside under the stars. No music, no phone, just a few deep breaths and silence. And in that still moment, something stirs. Peace begins to rise. not about the higher salary, but about the smaller, more purposeful path. It doesn't make sense to others, but it feels right. That clarity didn't come from reasoning, it came from reconnecting, because stillness doesn't just quiet the world, it amplifies the soul. You see, God rarely interrupts. He waits. He waits for you to sit long enough, slow down deep enough, and trust quiet enough to hear Him. And when He speaks, it's not with thunder, it's with a whisper that says, go left, a whisper that says, let go, a whisper that says, this is the way. We've been trained to fear stillness, to associate it with boredom or lack of productivity. But in truth, stillness is one of the most active spiritual practices. It is where strategies are born, burdens are released, direction is found, and power is received. Those who master stillness are not slow, they are sure. They don't rush decisions, they discern them. They don't panic in crisis, they anchor in clarity. So the question is not, do you know what to do? The question is, have you been still long enough to hear the answer? Because what you're searching for is not always found in books, podcasts, or people. Sometimes it's waiting for you in silence. Let the world run. Let the noise rage. You find your stillness. In that sacred quiet, your vision will return, your peace will deepen, and your purpose will become undeniable. You don't need more information. You need more inner access. And that begins not with noise, but with stillness. This is why you can't treat vision like a strategy. It is sacred, and it must be received in a sacred space. That space might be your morning walk. It might be your journal. It might be your time in silence. But make no mistake, your inner vision is trying to speak. And the more you ignore it, the more anxious and restless you'll become. Not because life is bad, but because you've silenced the signal of your real purpose. When you begin to live from vision, everything shifts. You stop comparing yourself. You stop chasing validation. You stop wondering what others think. Because the sight in your spirit becomes stronger than the sight in your eyes. That's when confidence is born. Not because everything around you is perfect, but because the light inside you is brighter than the darkness around you. And that's the power of spiritual vision. It anchors you. When storms come, you don't panic, you align. When doors close, you don't despair, you discern. Because you understand, what I'm seeing with my spirit is more real than what I'm facing with my senses. You become a person who's not led by trends, but by truth. Not by pressure, but by purpose. Not by fear, but by the flame of divine assignment burning within you. The world teaches us to think first, but the kingdom says, see first, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. And when you see clearly, you live boldly, you speak with certainty, you walk with purpose. Because vision, true vision, is not something you create, it's something you carry. And it's been waiting for you to open your inner eyes and finally receive it. There is a hidden battle happening in every person's life between what their eyes show them and what their spirit reveals. The outer world shows circumstances, limitations, statistics, and facts. But the inner world, if awakened, reveals possibility, destiny, and divine direction. And this is the unshakable truth. What you see inside will always challenge what you see outside. The vision planted by God in your heart doesn't match your current environment because it was never meant to. It was meant to transform it. Let's get real. Most people allow their current reality to become their permanent truth. If they don't see money, they believe they'll never have it. If they don't see opportunities, they stop believing they're possible. If they look around and see failure, pain, or stagnancy, they think, this must be who I am. But your life's calling does not come from the outside in. It comes from the inside out. That means what you see with your spiritual vision will often look crazy compared to what you're living right now. And that's not delusion. That's destiny in disguise. Take a simple yet powerful example. Imagine a young man born in poverty. Every day he wakes up in a one-room house surrounded by lack. His family tells him, be realistic. Society tells him, stay in your lane. But every night when he dreams, he sees something different. He sees himself building businesses, traveling the world, creating impact. He doesn't know how. He doesn't have a map. But the vision is clear. That's not fantasy. That's future speaking. That's God revealing what already exists inside him, even if the world hasn't caught up yet. This is where courage comes in. Because the moment you choose to follow your inner vision, you begin to live against your environment. You'll have to walk through seasons where what's happening around you contradicts what's happening within you. And that tension is where most people give up. They think if it was meant to be, it would be easy. No. If it's meant to be, it will be tested. Because vision must outgrow your reality before your reality can grow into your vision. Let me give you another example. Imagine a woman working a job that pays her bills but drains her soul. Every morning, her stomach tightens before she clocks in. She's good at what she does, but she knows she was made for more. Quietly, she dreams of launching her own brand, coaching others, making an impact. Her friends roll their eyes. Her coworkers mock the idea, but inside, she sees it. She envisions herself speaking on stages, helping others break through, living with freedom. The outer world sees a desk job, but the inner vision sees a mission. What's happening here is powerful. Her inner sight is trying to lead her beyond her current condition, and unless she chooses to follow that vision, she'll live someone else's version of safety instead of her own divine story of purpose. That's why so many people feel stuck. Not because they're incapable, but because they've stopped trusting the sight of the soul. When God plants a vision inside you, it's not meant to match your surroundings. It's meant to stretch them. If your dream doesn't scare your logic, it's not a vision, it's a plan. True vision will conflict with your comfort zone. It will call you to see further, believe deeper, and act braver than you've ever dared to before. And that means you'll have to stand alone sometimes. Not because you're wrong, but because you're early. This isn't just about career or success. It applies to every area of life. Say you've grown up around broken relationships, failed marriages, emotional wounds. You've seen dysfunction for years, and yet you believe in love, in healing, in building something real. People say, That's just not how it works. But you feel different. That inner picture of a loving, peaceful home keeps returning. That's not weakness. That's inner vision resisting outer dysfunction. You weren't called to repeat patterns. You were called to break them. And here's the final truth. Your outer world will not shift until your inner world becomes louder. Faith doesn't follow facts. Faith challenges them. Vision doesn't require evidence. Vision creates it. That means you must walk in alignment with what you see inside, even when your environment says it's impossible. Even when your bank account, your background, or your circumstances say, no, your spirit says, watch what I build. To live by inner vision is to live by purpose, not permission. You don't wait for conditions to be perfect. You move because what you see inside is too real to ignore. That's how breakthroughs happen. That's how legacies are built. That's how transformation begins. Not when the world believes in you, but when you finally believe in the vision God showed you, even if no one else does. So the question is not, can I afford to dream? The real question is, can you afford to ignore what God is showing you inside? Because once you see it, you're responsible for it. What you see inside will always challenge what you see